Hello, friends. This is Prashant again from your favorite YouTube channel, Liability Odyssey. And we are here in one more show on the series, The Unheard. And today we have one other guest, a very reputed one. You might be knowing him from LinkedIn and more community for sure. So I welcome you, Chris. Thank you very much for taking the time out and accepting my request and coming on this talk show.
Most appreciated. Thank you.
Sure. So we'll start the discussion. And the first question is that, can you please introduce yourself and can you also tell us about the experience that you have, right, in the EM space on different products?
Sure. So I actually started out a steel mill as an engineer, and one of my responsibilities was representing our department on the building of a CMMS product that ran on an HP. So as you can imagine, it was a while ago.
Yeah.
After leaving that experience, I ended up going into consulting, ended up having that mill as a client. And in fact, we actually started them with a service bureau approach on our mainframe. And all they really saw was paper. You know, they got reports, they got analysis, but they didn't really have to deal with the computer. And I was there for quite a while, left, went out as an independent, because during that time frame, as technology improved and computers became more powerful, people would actually purchase a product, run it on their own local networks, sometimes even on a local machine, but they often had trouble with getting it up and running. So the company I work with provided essentially a turnkey startup service to electronically load in information on assets, PMs, descriptions, and essentially give them a database to start with. And that's what forced me to learn Maximo, pretty much not just on the screens, but at table level, because I was usually responsible for, I had a lot of ETL, a lot of extract, transform, and load responsibilities for Maximo as well as other products. But more commonly, Maximo was the one we ran into a lot, and we're responsible for essentially populating it. And then that sort of morphed into doing more work with Maximo, including implementation services and consulting. And I went out on my own as an independent for several years, doing just that specific service. And after that, I started work with Projitech. That's almost 20 years ago now, doing a lot of training, which I've always still go back to, but also implementations when we did implementations on other people's networks until we moved exclusively to the cloud and really just focused on doing implementations only in the cloud. And now we do a lot more through our partners to allow them and us to really break into other markets, other areas of use for Maximo, because Maximo's just about everywhere. Not just all across the planet, but in many different industries, which is what's brought forth the many industry solutions and add-ons, and just continues to expand. And we don't have all the expertise in all of those areas. So as a consequence, we have developed a partner network to help us out as well as to help them out to continue to grow the service and service delivery in the Maximo space.
Amazing. So starting as a user who supports actually on the plant floor till being an SME, so it's a very long journey, I will say. Yes. So yes, definitely very long journey. Yes, and I think one of the unique experiences, right? Not everybody, like if you see we people, like, okay, I am working in Maximo since more than 15 years now, but I was always an implementer. I never got a chance to work on the actual plant floor or the shop floor. So that is a unique perspective that when you are actually into the consulting, for sure that helps. So amazing. I think it's fabulous experience that you have. And
Yeah, and it's been
starting.
great as well since
Yes.
we also are Maximo users. So I'm in it every
Yeah.
day because our
Yeah.
support system is run through Maximo.
Perfect. Thank you very much for enlightening us with this journey. And I
Sure.
believe that there might be many others who will be actually be having the similar experience. And when they maybe when they will listen to this video, they might be reminding their early days how they started and how they are working in EM space, right? Okay. So the next
Absolutely.
question coming to this rightly related with this one. So very long experience, right? And then you have seen even before when the Maximo was very immature, or I will say starting up, then Maximo 4, 5, 6, 7, all the version, and now Mass 8, correct? So so many new technologies are coming in. Mass 8 is very hot. Everyone is talking about it. So what is your perspective towards it? Like how has, because you have seen the complete journey. So what do you think about it, about the Mass, and then what is your perspective on it?
Sure. So yeah, I think my first one was probably Maximo 2 something. So it was 1996.
Wow.
So it was a while back. But I think
Wow.
probably the biggest single difference now is going to be containerization. I mean, it's a dramatically different shift behind the screens on the infrastructure side, which is going to enable the Maximo product to go into more different types of implementations and different clouds. The quote unquote hyperscalers of Amazon, was it Amazon, Azure, and Google, I think, were the ones that IBM put on the roadmap.
Mhm.
And that is great because there are a number of companies, large companies, where they want to be in one of those clouds. Probably more Amazon and Azure than anything, as opposed to just running an IBM cloud, because there are more companies that are actually getting that cloud focus, but
Yeah.
they want to run in the cloud that they've already approved. And by IBM making that more available and simplified in terms of getting into that space, that makes Maximo a much more viable product in those larger implementations. Now, the usual thing with that is, it's a change. So from the front end of it is not as much of a change on the Maximo side, but because of the back end and the containerization through Red Hat is new and unusual for a lot of companies. So they may or may not be prepared for that. And that is so most of your changes in implementation differences for Maximo have really been around the front end application
Yeah.
and changes to the screens, some changes to the tables. This is a really dramatic change on the back end of Maximo, where the front end changes are not that significant. I mean, there are truly navigation changes,
Yeah.
but they've tried to preserve a lot of traditional Maximo in making those changes, and very few functions. I mean, really, user management is probably the only thing that's actually moved to the suite level, and it's not
Yeah.
in quote unquote Maximo manage. But everything else is pretty much still there. Work
Yeah.
order still work order, asset still at asset, PM still at PM,
Yes.
and so on.
Yeah.
And from where the module is, it's still in roughly the same place. The screen looks very similar. And it doesn't take a lot of time to actually manage the transition between the old set of screens and navigation and the new. And once you get past that, it's not as encumbering or challenging than you
Mhm.
may have thought. But
Mhm.
the change on the containerization side, that's a big and significant shift, and people really need to get prepared for it, which may make it an easier transition in terms of moving to the cloud.
And connecting dots with the answer that you just now gave, I have seen the amazing video that you have prepared, and I believe that was the first video that was actually showing the difference between the traditional Maximo 7.6 versus Maximo Manage. And you have focused very well in that video that comparing the different controls, the different URL and different UI screens, right? And
Yeah,
I believe that was one of the amazing video. And I am sure that at least it will give a little, okay, I understand change management is a big side, but our Maximo community is that specifically users will be very worried that, okay, what is coming now, right? What is this new particular thing which is coming now? I believe that
exactly.
will be very comforting, right? And then that was one of the great video that I personally like, and I also shared with my friends and the team. So
Thank you.
amazing content there. And then my question is also related to that. So which is coming to the other part of the story, that you are actually a founding member, and I believe a very key, stakeholders involved with more Maximo community, right?
Sure.
So I know that still the community is growing, and I know that lot of content is being generated, people are answering, but still there might be some of them who have not accessed it. So maybe can you quickly wanted to touch base on, like, for the others who are seeing the video and have not joined it, what is this community all about?
So one of the things that had happened 2016, 17, 2018, somewhere in there, we kind of got wind that the Maximo Wiki was going to go away, which it's gone now. But I depended on. I lived there a lot. There were a number of things that I would refer people to. I go back to the old Yahoo group and many other groups around Maximo, which will share communities that people with expertise and people with questions, just shared them freely and openly. And we wanted to
Yeah.
make sure that that was going to be available just to help with the overall community and to get information like the video that you mentioned. I made that because I couldn't find one. I
Yeah.
literally went out searching for it and it just wasn't available. And looks like I think it's about 5 people a day have looked at it since October of 21, maybe, when I put it out. But that's something that was made for the community as well. And what we tried to do was just make this, we started out with content that we had and had available and just published it. Discussions came naturally. Some of them have been very good, that have been both functional and technical. And the nice part about it is the members of the community are in both areas. So every question is welcome. And many of them are challenging to the point where with Maximo, you find there's more than one way to do something. And
Yeah.
sure enough, we have a number of those questions that come out, and the answer isn't just one. There's 3 or 4 different answers, and they're
Yeah.
all valid. And it comes down to your situation. And this is a
Mhm.
great place to actually make that available, publish it, and then make it so that people can find it and find it easily. And we continue to focus on that, and continue to populate content ourselves. Sometimes we answer the questions, sometimes we ask the questions. But we found that we are getting not just US or North American, but essentially worldwide input
Yeah.
from both questions and answers, and just look to continue to grow it. About a year and a half ago, we decided, with Maximo 7.6 sort of, going away, part of this was driven too by a survey that Terry did at Maximo World, and just reminded us that we are continually having a change in personnel and expertise in the Maximo space. And as a consequence, there's always a need for training. So one of the things we did was we actually made basic training available directly inside the community. Navigation, QBRs, assets, locations, PMs, job plans, work orders. So inventory, so and even procurement, just to get people a basic level to get them started as they bring more new people into the community. And 7.6 is going to be with us for a while. And then there's still knowledge that's useful for the people that make the transition into application suite. So it just became a good idea. And we just make it available. And the application, make it available to all members. But a lot of the other content is really available to anyone.
Amazing. And I know that there is a lot of content, right? So all different kind of questions are there. You choose the area and you will find some easy ones, some tough ones as well, right? Some intriguing
Yeah.
questions will also be there. And yes, there is a dedicated space for MX Loader. There is a dedicated space for application suite, and then 7.6 is there as usual. So I believe, yes, very good place and dedicated space for someone who want to search, because it's still okay. The documentation is still there, but it is very well organized in that. I spend quite try to spend sufficient time, at least couple of hours every week, so I know different pages and navigations. But yes, I believe it's very, very valuable, place and to be for any developers and the users. And I think, as you have already answered that, what was the motivation? I think it is very good place for us to share the knowledge and learn, right? Even though
Absolutely.
tomorrow, if there is no developer works, then there's no problem. There is one place where you can go and ask questions. Yeah, so I think really appreciating the thought process behind it, and then how it is being managed now. I believe it is pretty open, and
Yeah.
lot of contribution is coming from different team members. So I believe that's amazing. Now, my next question is, I know that your role is that you work with a lot of partners, you work with IBM, you will work with a lot of customers, right? And then one thing which is right now going on, and this has already always been a big question, in at least in our world, is whenever there will be a new version of Maximo will come, there will be some uneasiness, there will be some questions around it, and eventually everything will be settled. But at that point of time, there are some advices that are required. So you already know that have so large client base already on your cloud, then you work with so many vendors and partners and IBM directly. So are there some advices that you want to give to the users who are listening to this podcast or talk show, that when you go to Maximum Application Suite, what are the certain things that they should keep in mind so that it eases their time?
I think the most important thing is know your environment. Know what, and I'm not just talking about auditing your licenses. That's important.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But understanding what level of usage you have and in what areas that you are actually using Maximo. And I think probably there's issues around what it is you want to do with Maximo going forward. So what's your plan forward? I mean, obviously the suite provides a number of different additional capabilities.
Mm-hmm.
Are there areas you're looking to move into right away or not? And that's just kind of part of the implementation question. Where are you going to go inside the application suite? I think
Mm-hmm.
the next thing really is understanding what that's going to look like in the future if you're going to run it locally, if you're moving to a cloud, if you have a cloud focus, or if you're not sure. That's going to be an important piece as well, because again, one of the things with containerization under Red Hat, it might not be something that's on your IT roadmap. So you want to make sure that your IT department is comfortable with it if you're going to manage it internally, or if you're going to move to the cloud, and then which one you're going to move to. You want to find an implementation partner for that. And there are a number of resources available in the community that help to provide people an understanding of what these changes actually are. And some of the resources that are available to help you make decisions around that, and find an implementation partner to really help you understand what the impact is going to be. And you can ask those questions directly in the community. There are a number of videos. We even work with a partner. We put up a video series that we made available. And we made it available. It's technically in the community, but we actually made it a public link as well, so anybody can examine it. I can even share that with you. But that makes it easier for people to do their own research. The nice part about the community is we've also published links inside the community as well to external sources that have that kind of information available. The MX Loader, Bruno was kind enough to allow us to share his information for the MX Loader product through the community. And he responds to some of the questions on that product as well. Some of the things around the application suite, we actually leveraged links out back to IBM and even to their community if that's where the data is stored, and really just trying to make it sort of one-stop shop to get you a starting point, but then allow you to go wherever you need to go. And in general, we try to make it easier from a search standpoint, from a navigation standpoint, and you'll probably see some changes in the next few months because we're planning an upgrade for the More community.
Okay, that's exciting news. So I think that's something which I can say I got one extra information that there is upgrade coming. So looking forward to it, and I hope that it will be even it will better. Already it has a lot of resources in that, and I believe even it will become better. So I think it's amazing. So I think
In
you have
fact,
actually,
I should mention also, it's also going to address a request that I believe came from you.
I got it. What was the request? Thank you so much for that. Okay, now I got it. What I'm going to get, I have a little idea. So thank you very much for that. And then I believe you have also actually raised very valid point. First of all, know your environment, not only licenses but also what you have, and then you need to have a vision, right? That you need to first make. I go to different events and then I present at some places where I got chance, and then whenever I start talking about APM, everybody gets excited and say that I want to do predictive maintenance. And then the next thing as I ask is that what I have to say to them is first you have to make a base, then you can make how many story buildings you want. So first have your base, then only you can go for floor number 40. Otherwise you can't have floor number 40 in the air. So very
Exactly.
valid point. Have your vision and go according to vision. And then also the other very important point that you have notified, that skill set. First of all, container are, I will say it is relatively new for normal folks, right? Even that are not too much skill set available. Then we are having now Red Hat, which again is a proprietary solution. So obviously it has its own nitty-gritty and how it works. Okay, it uses the principle of Kubernetes, but still there you need to learn how to deal with that. So you need to have the skill also in your IT team if you decide that if you are going for on-prem, right? So I think very, very valid inputs that and everybody should be, understanding. And okay, my next question is coming on the personal front. So I want to know, I know you contribute a lot. I know yet it is, people understand that community service is free, but actually it takes a lot of time. Even if you have to make a video, you need to read about it, you need to juggle through multiple things, and then finally you have to have a presentable thing, right? And then so it takes time. But then what do you do? What are the other hobbies that you have? What do you do when you have some free time in the hand?
So, well, as my wife would say, I read boring stuff. Containerization is new for me as well. So, containerization is not new, by the way. I don't mean to say that containerization is new. It's not new. It's it's years old. It was new to me. So I even took a class on it just so I would know a little bit more about it. But I live mostly on the functional side of things, so our technical people take care of it, and they tell me what I need to know. And I just thought I'd need to be a little bit more knowledgeable. But beyond that, I think probably the biggest thing I do is volunteer. Well, I live in Charlotte, North Carolina, but the company's in Cincinnati, Ohio. So we adopted a class, first grade class, at a school nearby 6-7 years ago. So we work with them and about once a month, and then every year they come to our office, which was just a couple weeks ago, and we work with them to introduce them to things in science, technology, engineering, and math. Something, because of kind of where they are, they don't necessarily get exposed to, and we try and continue to do that. And that's just that first grade class that we focus on every year. But then I do similar things here in Charlotte for both elementary students to get them focused and aware of STEM possibilities, and I also do it with new college students as well to give them an idea of what careers are available to them and some of the things and tools that they'll have available to them that are available to them now that they might not know about, like LinkedIn, to be able to get an idea of what's out there and get an idea of how they find work, maintain it, move to the next job. And beyond that, I also volunteer in between those around voting season. So I actually work elections here in Charlotte on a early voting and regular voting basis, pretty much, well, every time there's a vote.
Wow. So a lot of
Yeah.
volunteering, and then I can now relate. I have seen a post from Project Tech page where recently I believe the firemen also came, right? Ohio Department firemen also came there,
We
and there was
had
a class there.
excellent support
Yeah,
from both fire, police, paramedics, all came out. The kids had a
yeah,
ball.
amazing. So
E-
I think yes. So
Even the mayor came.
oh wow, wow.
Didn't know that was
So
happening.
okay, wow. So no, actually, yes. So I think now I am able to connect it, and then I also see college affairs. I always see you participating in them. So yeah, I think yeah, you do a lot of good work there. I think
Thanks.
that's really good. That's really good, right? Yeah, everybody does for themselves, but then what about others? Not everyone can give to others. So I think it's
Yeah.
amazing. It's really
Yeah.
amazing.
And we have a good time with it as well. And,
Yeah.
while we're all still working with Maximo, and I should mention also, I
Yes.
appreciate the fact that you, among others, have been one of the people that's been providing answers to questions that come up, particularly on the technical side. I can't really touch those. And I want to say thank you for that as well.
Thank you so much, Chris. It really means a lot coming from you. So I believe, yeah, that's it. So it was pretty nice discussion. Thank you so much for your time. Taking some time out from your busy schedule. Again,
Sure.
I really appreciate you accepting my request, and then we talking and doing this, quick talk show. I am sure that there are some key takeaways for even for technical folks as well as for functional folks as well as for users that we got from your input. So thank you so much, Chris, once again. And I believe to my friends who are watching this video, I think this was one of the session that, as I said, there will be some key takeaways for you. And again, I would like to thank you all, for your time, for looking and liking this video. So as usual, I will request that like this video, comment it, share with the community, and then I will again come back with one more guest, and we will talk about Maximo. We'll talk about other things in EM space, and obviously some fun chit chat. So thank you guys once again. Thank you so much, Chris, for your time today.